2, 3.
FAB-Racing Minibikes British Championship.
Hello everybody and welcome back to our coverage of the MasterMac FAB-Racing. It is round 2 and we are here in Ellough Park in Suffolk. Beautiful, beautiful weather we have got this weekend and we are looking forward to a great weekend of racing. Joining me in the commentary box is Ross McIntyre. Ross, how are we today?
I am doing fantastic, thank you, Izzy. Yes, it is great to be back at FAB-Racing. And what a place to be here as well, Ellough Park. Oh, one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. It always provides excitement. It always provides something you don't quite expect. And I'm so excited to go racing today.
It's going to be a good one. Now, this morning we were down in the paddock talking to some of the riders. And actually we found out so far this weekend during practice and qualifying, a few riders have been having some issues, mechanical issues in fact. And that'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the weekend, if they can manage it. Coming out onto track now, we can see the pit bikes coming out for their qualifying session. Interesting to see how their grid will look today.
Absolutely. If you are just joining us, do not worry. Not missing any of the racing action. Still qualifying twos on your way. So we've still got a whole host of qualifying sessions before we get into all of our race ones later on today. And then, of course, as always, our race twos and our race threes tomorrow. But as you said, Izzy, yes, lots of mechanical issues already across the weekend. I'm not really sure what's happening there. The temps are quite high. We're looking at 22 degrees across this weekend as there we see British Challenge Cup Championship leader Philip Stroviak heading back to his camper van that's just off screen. But as I said, yeah, temps a little bit higher, so I wonder if that's just maybe creating some havoc on the mechanical side. We know these bikes can be temperamental at the best of times, but a few people were running around this morning trying to speak to him, and a lot of people, sorry, can't talk, I'm currently ripping my gearbox, my engine apart or something like that.
Yeah, definitely, that happened a lot this morning. We've got a lot of coverage going on this weekend, and something in particular we have got going on is that we have got a little bit of a friendly competition happening this weekend in the Moto Team Championship of the South Africans versus the British. This morning I was speaking to a couple of the riders and there is a lot of friendly competition, a lot of interesting stuff going on between them. There's a trophy to be won. It is all happening this weekend. Very interesting to see what will happen between those guys. Speaking to Malcolm Steyn, he has kind of created this little competition between them and he's looking forward to getting it going and having some fun this weekend in the Moto Team Championship, Ross.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and I'm very excited to see what this new... I mean, it is an unofficial championship. It's been organised by the riders. It's still very much, this kind of semi-ashes thing. We're looking forward to it. It should be very interesting. We've got a whole host of South Africans here with us this weekend in the Moto Team. And I believe the way that they said they're doing, they're also taking the top British rider from each race, I think.
Yes, that is kind of what he was explaining to us earlier, that altogether they'll have 5 riders and their top rider is going to be a British rider, so that will be interesting. We also spoke to Jamie earlier from the Pit Bike series, and yesterday he suffered quite a nasty crash. Said he was feeling quite sore, quite uncomfortable today, but he's going to try and push through and do the best he can.
Yeah, Pit Bike Sonic, Jamie King, reigning 4-time champion at his home track as well. But it's got to be said, it's a track that typically hasn't been very kind to me. He had a really, really big crash here a couple of years ago. Actually broke his back in that one. And then a big off yesterday as well. Luckily, he's up on his feet and he's okay. But yeah, said he was feeling a bit stiff, a bit sore. So we had a look at him out on the track this morning when he was out practicing and in the first qualifying. Looks fine. I mean, he's on the bike and he's racing it. Whether he'll be quick, another thing entirely. We'll have to wait and see. Already getting a bit of a bumper crowd forming here at Ellough Park. Not only is it my favourite, it is firm favourite among the FAB-Racing paddock as well. Everyone absolutely loves it here. And again, you do get a lot of people from East Anglia, from Norfolk and Suffolk, who don't normally turn up to FAB, do come down for this weekend and watch along. It is always a great atmosphere. It's always bouncing. And again, the temps are high. Lovely scene around. You've got the airfield just across the road to get the planes going over. In case you get a bit bored of bikes going around on a track, I suppose. It's always a fantastic weekend here at Ellough Park.
Yeah, it is. And talking about the weather, we've got nice bright sunshine this weekend. A couple of bits of cloud here and there, but overall really warm and sunny, which I think, Ross, is quite different to what you had here last year. if I remember correctly. Suffered from a bit of rain last year.
Yeah, just a little bit. It has rained here in the past. I think I want to say it was 2023 as well. There was one weekend there. It was very, very wet. A real grueling race came out of it in the GP70s. It was really, really exciting. But yeah, it can rain here when it wants to, but luckily no rain scheduled for this weekend. There is a small chance of rain a little bit later on this afternoon, but it's so slim. And again, if you look out of the window, or, you know, as you can see on your picture, the lovely scenery, yeah, a little bit of cloud cover, but overall it is lovely and blue skies. Now, it must be said, if you're just joining us, for starters, hello and welcome. Don't worry, you've not missed any of the action. You join us here at the second round of the MasterMac FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship here at Ellough Park, and we are underway in our second qualifying sessions, but so you've not missed any of the action just yet. Now, it must be said, this happens every single year here when we get to Ellough Park. We do get a few silly penalties. Of course, FAB-Racing regulations, you are not allowed to ride your bikes in the paddock. You have to push them on. Yes, you can be on them, but you have to push them along. Engines aren't allowed to be on until you get to the holding area. However, some people take that quite liberally, and that's okay. Normally that's fine. Here at Ellough Park, though, they have very, very strict noise regulations.
They do.
And you will get slapped with a penalty if you're caught doing it. I think it's if you're caught doing it 3 times, 3 strikes, you will get sent home. Immediate disqualification from the weekend. You know, Roger Keys and Race Control, they're not messing around with this one. So if you're watching along and you've been riding your bike in the paddock for whatever reason, stop doing it because you don't want to get disqualified. But we may be seeing a few penalties if some of our riders are a little bit silly.
And I think that could be quite interesting if penalties are applied, and it could happen to some of the top riders from each of the championships. It could send everything changing this weekend. Very unpredictable if we have these penalties coming in. So yes, any of our riders who are watching, friendly reminder, don't ride your bikes in the paddock.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, important to remember as well, we had 2 rounds here last year. It wasn't a double round like we saw at Rowra. Round number 2 and then the final round as well, both at Ellough Park. So slightly different conditions across the both of them. As there we see our first, the parasailing, I think it is. I don't know. It's jumping out of a plane with a parachute to me. It's all, it's all the same. Yeah, lunatics, I think is a...
I could not do that. Not good with heights.
I mean, I say that, but these guys are also going out there and, you know, going wheel to wheel at, you know, very, very quick speeds and leading on all the racetracks. So they're pretty crazy as well, some of them. But, yeah, so that was important to know is what I was trying to get to, though. Yeah, we had 2 rounds here at Ellough Park last year, so lots and lots of racing. This year, we do only have the 1, this being, of course, the second round. We do have 2 rounds of 3 sisters later on in the season. That was the final 2 rounds, round 6 and 7. Again, not a double header, though. Those are 2 separate rounds separated by a month. So we'll have that there. This year, though, just the 1 round at Ellough Park. Some people very upset about that. I know all the local boys who like to come along, they'll be a bit saddened by that, but it still just means that this weekend even more special as a result.
And like we said when we were at Lid, we started the season a little bit later than we did last year, which made for some very interesting racing at Lid because it was a different time of the year at the circuit, different weather. Like, we had beautiful weather whilst we were at Lid, which did lead to some brilliant races that we saw amongst the championships. And there we go, we can still see our parachuter on the screen. He looks like he's just having quite a chill time there.
He's getting a free view of some racing below him. There's actually 2 of them going on. Oh my word. It can get a bit interesting in the sky around here sometimes, and it just adds to the scenery and adds to the excitement. If you're just joining us, hello and welcome. Don't worry, you've not missed any action. We're just in the second qualifying session for the Pit Bike 140s, and we are so excited to get racing here at Ellough Park. Hope you're looking for a good day ahead. I can retire now, I'm happy with that one. Anyway, as I was saying earlier, all of the race 1s to come today, this afternoon, and all of our race 2s and race 3s tomorrow. Now, Ellough Park is what a track. I know it's your first time here, but immediately when you came in, you said this place was amazing.
Yeah, and literally as soon as we arrived this morning, I looked at the track and I was like, this is going to be a very interesting one. It's tight, it's twisty. And speaking to a lot of the riders, when we went round the paddock this morning, a lot of them have said it's one of their favourite tracks to be at, and a lot of them are finding it suiting them quite well.
Yeah, lap time's looking really, really quick. Some riders feeling very confident. I'm sure we'll touch on later. One that immediately springs to mind, Harrison Day, was feeling really, really quick this morning. Again, he was another one who was suffering with a little bit of mechanical issues this morning, but seems like it was all fixed by the time they were able to go for the first qualifying session. But yeah, again, it's later in the year. Temps are a little bit higher, so a lot of people running quick. A lot of people struggling a bit in the temps. It must be said, maybe tyres, the track temperature just a bit too warm for what they want, but I'm sure they'll be able to negotiate their way around it. But man, oh man, what a racetrack this is. It just suits Minimoto racing down to the ground. It's tight, it's twisty, it's furious, and it is so much fun. And boy, oh boy, we're very excited to get going. So it shouldn't be too far away until we get our race ones going. Again, just in qualifying if you are just joining us. But yeah, not too far away. A few more qualifying sessions to go, and then we'll be getting ready to go racing for all of our race ones a little bit later on today.
Yeah, we are. No, it's been a month since we were at Leeds, so that all the riders have had a month to, after that season opener, figure out how they're feeling on the bike, figure out how it was working for them, if they needed to change anything, adjust to get the best they can out of their bikes. Now, out on track at the moment, I do believe we still have the pit bikes. They are still going in their qualifying session. I do think we did see at one point Jamie King come in for a quick second, so perhaps after his crash yesterday he's just having a few issues. But this weekend he's also running in the Extreme Championship as well, and he's looking forward to that when I was speaking to him earlier in the paddock. So this is the road to MotoGP. Remember, everybody, all our champions start here. This is the best place for them to be. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube right now, don't forget to like, subscribe. Let us know in the comments who your favourite rider is for this weekend and who you are supporting.
Absolutely, yeah. You mentioned earlier Jamie King racing the Extreme 200 this weekend. Himself and Chris Wells, both two of our biggest names in the pit bike paddock. They are being factory supported this weekend by LRAs. They've got some imported Daytona 190s and they're running around with some factory support. And LRA, they're looking to hopefully enter some more rounds or get some bikes out there into the FAB-Racing paddock. This is the first round that they're joining us, and it's great to have them here. Hopefully they continue, whether it be a factory effort or whether people are able to get a hold of the bikes themselves and run them themselves. But yeah, very, very interesting to see what Jamie and Chris can do a bit more away from the normal pit bike machinery that we're used to seeing. The one we're seeing, I believe, that is the Mini GP 50s getting ready to go off their qualifying session in just a moment, or in fact it may be the 70s. Who can tell? Either or, it's quite hard, but don't worry, you're not missing anything. It is just the qualifying session at the moment. Every race, of course, will be live this weekend, brought to you by us here at Motorsport Radio. Wherever you're watching around the world, let us know who you're supporting. Let us know who you think's going to be on top at the end of the races. Make sure you're liking, you're sharing, you're subscribing, and all of the above to help promote these riders and help get their names out there, help stamp British motorbike racing onto the map. It is a real privilege to be bringing you all of the action from round two's coverage here at Ellough Park.
We also have someone joining us this weekend from the British Talent Cup. We have got Philip Savriac joining us this weekend, and you were speaking to him earlier, Ross. How is he feeling this weekend?
Yeah, it's great to have Philip racing with us this weekend. He was with us at Lid at the first round, but wasn't racing, just kind of, was there seeing some old friends. Of course, the current championship leader, pole and race one winner at Silverstone as well, when they were supporting the Grand Prix there a few weeks ago. And yeah, great to have Philip here. And yeah, he's feeling confident. Again, he's not going out just pushing all the way. Again, British Challenge Cup Championship leader, you don't want to go out and hurt yourself at FAB, with all due respect to everyone here. British Challenge Cup, it is the next level above these guys. It's where our junior riders are aiming to be once they graduate from FAB-Racing. It is, the next logical step. And of course, here at FAB-Racing, we are the easiest way to get into the British Challenge Cup every year since 2019. Over 60% of the grid and the top two in the championship have all come from FAB-Racing. It's why we were awarded the Road to MotoGP accolade played by Dorna back in 2019, and we've held that ever since. So if you want to get up to the British Talent Cup, you want to be like Philip Soroviak and winning races in front of a MotoGP crowd, and you're at home, or, you know, indeed like Lucas Brown or Sullivan Mounsey, Casey O'Gorman, Evan Belford, so many names that have gone on to achieve great things in the world of bike racing. If you want to start your bike racing career, and you know you've got a young one at home, or you yourself aren't too old and you're sat at home thinking, I could get involved with this, then head over to the FAB-Racing website, find out how to get involved, and you can come down and join. And again, we do have some series for the older riders as well, so it's not all just about kids.
And what I love so much being here, it's such a good environment in the paddock. Everybody is chatting, everybody wants to speak to each other, and there's quite a bond built between everybody here. You know, everybody supports each other and really wants to see each other do well. Although they're competing against each other, they all really have the same goal. They want to get into those championships. They want to get into ones like British Talent Cup, MotoGP, British Superbikes, where even in British Superbikes we have a couple of ex-FAB riders there. We've got Charlie Nesbitt. We also, in one of the support races for British Superbike, Zach Corduroy, who is in British Supersport at the moment, and he's actually one of the riders here at the moment, one of their favourite riders, Austin Baton, number 100 in the AC40 Rookies. He properly looks up to Zach Corduroy.
Yeah, well, maybe that could come back one day, show Austin, you know, a few moves, few techniques, help young riders improve. Again, we see that so often. That's part of what I love so much about FAB is, you know, you do get guys like Philip Soroviak this weekend. They come back for a weekend. Yeah, they want a bit of track time. Yeah, they want to have a bit of fun on the bike. But it's also an opportunity to come back to where they started and help those younger than them, help those progress and get better. And, you know, just teach the generation after them as the generation before them taught them. So it is really, really lovely to see. And again, we've got riders who have gone all over the world and achieved so much. We've had riders in MotoGP. I mean, Scott Ogden in Moto3 is the current easy example. Riders in BSB, of course, got riders in World Superbikes. Everywhere you look in the world of bike racing, if there's a British rider in it, they probably learned their craft here at FAB.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even Charlie Nesbitt, he came to visit us when we were at Lid a couple of weeks ago, speaking to a lot of the young riders, giving them some advice, telling them how, and offering support to them, which is really nice to see that they do come back to where they began and help those who want to achieve the same as them. And that's what motorbiking, the community, really is all about. Everybody supports each other, looks after each other.
Yeah, absolutely. It is it's the main part here. You know, it's all about, yes, racing, and yes, you know, trying to prove yourself out on track against other top level athletes, but it is also about having fun. And we wouldn't be here if we weren't having fun, and we certainly are. Look at the crowds already. It's only qualifying, and already we've got dozens of people watching along from the paddock, many more further along just outside of the frame of the camera shot there. A big crowd as always here at Ellough Park, and of course we want to know who they're supporting. Many of them will be supporting younger riders they're helping, or maybe their kids or a family member. Many just here to have some fun as well. Many may be supporting hometown hero Jamie King. Don't forget, he bottled 3 race wins here last year, and although did take race 3 at Lid last time out, and he it's the first time he's really beaten Chris Wells in wheel-to-wheel racing in a long old time as well, which is great of him. Yes, Chris did get held up by traffic in the final corner, so I'm not going to give it to Jamie just yet, but, and again, he also has had a crash coming into this weekend. He's a little bit stiff, might not be up to his best, but again, hometown hero. You know, from literally 10 minutes up the road, he's here at Ellough Park all the time. If you follow him on YouTube on his Pit Bike Sonic channel, he's always here testing, uploading videos from here at Ellough Park. So I'm sure they'll be watching along. If you are watching along on YouTube at the moment, please let us know who you're supporting. Let us know what you think is going to happen here at Ellough Park. It is sure to be a fantastic weekend. We can't wait, should I say, to go racing. Shouldn't be too far away now.
I know. Looking at the beginning of this week, I was like, we are coming back this weekend, back to FAB here in Suffolk. We are at Ellough Park. Very tight, twisty track, which I did mention earlier, but we are here and we are looking forward to our 2 days of racing. We have the first 10 races today, and then tomorrow we will see race 2 and 3 for each of the championships. Still out on track at the moment. We have got some qualifying taking place. Don't worry, anybody who is watching, we are not missing anything at the moment. Racing will be beginning shortly. We are just finishing off the qualifying sessions now before we go racing.
Absolutely. Let's just run you through a rough schedule of what we're expecting to happen today before we get going. Maybe not, because I can't quite find it off the top of my head, but I'm sure we'll get it. We'll get there in the end. But we are in qualifying. We're not far away from the racing. It'll be sorted. It will be fine. Let's have a talk about what happened last time out at Lid as we so let's have a little discussion what happened last time out at Lid. Let's have a look for starters at our premier class in the Mini GP 70s. Really interesting weekend of racing. Of course, Lid's a bit of an awkward one for the 70s because it's very fast. Doesn't always offer the most exciting racing there, but this year it was great. Last year, of course, we had some fantastic results. We saw before, unfortunately, we had that final race get cancelled and the red flag in race 2, as well as a result of a really nasty oil spill. We saw Jensen Bishop setting the world alight for a brief moment before he got in. But yeah, let's talk a little bit what happened last time.
Yes, let's look at last time. So, overall, currently for the Mini GP 70, Harrison Day is leading the championship with 75 points. Taylor Tomlinson is following him with 52, and third in the championship currently is Frankie Watson, and then we have Travis Shaw in fourth with 40 points. It's all very close between these guys, and it was close between them at Lid as well. They were constantly battling for those podium places to get those points, to get them higher in the championship, because this is the one everybody wants to be in.
Absolutely. Of course, Harrison Day did sweep the weekend, picked up a maximum 75 points out of 3 race wins. But we saw some very strong battles. Taylor Tomlinson, Frankie Watson and Travis Shaw all looking very racy at the opening round. Harrison Day, we know he's feeling confident this weekend. Taylor Tomlinson seemed a little bit quieter this morning than I normally expect from him, but maybe he's just focused on the task at hand, just getting the visor down and getting on with things again. We'll have to wait and see how they're going to be stacking up once we get to the end of our qualifying sessions. As always, the grids for all 3 races decided by your best time across the both of the sessions. So the sessions are merged. Yes, there's 2 sessions, but essentially means there's just one, just split up in the middle, and your best time from either of those sessions, that decides where you start for all 3 races. So if you have an off or you have a bad qualifying, it can be very punishing.
It can, but that's the risk you run when you go motorbike racing. It's very unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. Like, Jamie probably didn't expect to have his crash yesterday, and speaking to a couple of riders this morning, quite a few of them were saying they came off yesterday. So perhaps it was like you were saying, Ross, the weather, the heat, it's finding that balance in the bike. You have to be able to adapt to all the different weather conditions.
Absolutely. Again, we're not expecting any rain this weekend. Again, a very slim chance we might get a smattering of it a little bit later on this afternoon, but expect dry running. We have had rain here before at Ellough Park, and it caused some chaos. It made the conditions so tough. This track is tricky. It's very technical. It is very physical. Obviously, the rain, the great equalizer as they call it, it just makes it that much harder round here. But again, looking like it's going to be dry running, but it's still very tough for the riders. Lots of braking effort needed. You need to be really aggressive on the brakes. You need to really have that core strength to hold your form through the corners you tuck in. And then you've got some weirdly slow bits as well. It's a track that seems very fast, but you get down to the bottom end of the circuit. If you look to the very far left of your picture, just over that far tyre barrier is the most awkward hairpin chicane section we probably have on the entire calendar. It's so painfully slow through there. You're basically crawling and you're coming in. It's off camber, it's undulating, it's so tricky, but it's a great place to make overtakes as well. So the best riders will be really aggressive through that part of the racetrack. So it's a track that throws up a lot of different options. It's a track that really tests these young riders as well, and it's a track that is fantastic to watch out.
Yep, and I'm getting that as we've been here all morning, just from speaking to the riders after they've come in from practice yesterday, practice this morning, qualifying, that it is a track that you can push the bike to its limits as well, and you can really try, and it's perfect for racing. If someone struggles a bit on that chicane hairpin section, they could lose a place instantly. Someone could get them, and I reckon we'll see a lot of fighting today.
Oh, we certainly will. It will be likely very, very aggressive between the pair, or between all of the riders out there. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, don't forget, not just the 70s, the 50s, the mini GPs. Of course, we've got pit bikes, we've got extreme 200s, we've got Moto T, and they're always really fun on here. And of course, we've got all of our mini moto classes as well. They provide some fantastic racing. When this was round 2 last year, so not the final round of the season, the last time we came, but round 2, the first time we came in 2024, saw some brilliant action in the senior mini motos, with Josh Birkin taking race 1, then a double DNF, Matt Birkin taking race 3 and a double DNF, and then David Meyer splitting them straight up the middle and taking race number 2. That was a brilliant weekend for those guys, and hopefully the senior mini motos continue to provide some fantastic action this weekend, as will all of our mini moto classes. Of course, our new inter class that we have for this season coming in with the new 12mm restrictor on the exhaust in the Britain AC40 Inter class, which has sort of replaced the AC40 Pros. It does still exist, but it's merged with the LC40 Elite. It gets a bit confusing, but I'm sure we'll get there in the end. So yeah, lots of really exciting race to be going on. Lots of lovely scenery, lots of flying things going over as well, as I'm sure you can see. There's many things in the air. It's a nice day for... Yeah, I mean, it's a nice day for it, I guess. The sun's out, it's a little bit windy, so you're not just going to drop from the sky. I don't really know how flying things work, to be honest.
I just couldn't do it myself. I really couldn't. Stick to my bikes, that's what I'll stick to.
Yeah, I prefer having wheels on the ground, to be honest with you. Yeah, maybe not a flying person myself, but I'm sure they're having fun. And again, they're getting to watch a bird's eye view of the best in British mini moto racing.
I can imagine that would be pretty cool. One thing we should probably mention is that throughout the whole season this year, we are also working with the House of Moto Female Championship Series, and we have a couple of girls racing with us in FAB, such as Daisy and Savannah Polden, the two sisters, and it's brilliant to see how we are supporting women in motorsport. Absolutely, of course, there's always a push to get more women involved in motorsport, and especially so in bike racing. And I tell you what, why don't we have a listen to some of our female riders as well? Let's head down to the paddock from a little while ago and hear from some of our female riders. Nelly Newth back with us again here at Fab Racing. A brilliant weekend for you at the first round in Lyd. How are you feeling?
Amazing.
Was it good winning last round?
Yeah.
And how are you feeling being here at Ellough Park?
Good.
How do you find the track's been for you? Because it's quite a twisty track. Are you finding it suiting you okay?
Kind of.
You've been out for practice yet?
Yeah.
How did you feel it was in practice? Did you find it was going okay?
Yeah.
And how are you hoping to do this weekend?
Good.
Wanting to win?
Yeah.
And what are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Winning.
Got a winner's attitude. Good on you. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Jamie King, at your home circuit this weekend here at Ellough Park. How are you feeling this weekend?
You're probably going to come onto it in a bit, but not feeling too great today. We had a little off yesterday, or quite a big off. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get through today, but it's going to be a bit difficult, I think, but we'll grin and bear it and see how we get on. But I went quicker yesterday than I've ever gone around here, and I do come here on the regular, so fingers crossed we can get back up to speed today.
How are you feeling after you crashed? Feeling a little bit sore, a little bit stiff?
Yeah, a little bit sore, definitely. I landed on my back quite nasty. I didn't even think it was possible to high side a pit bike that bad. They're not the quickest things in the world. And yeah, I came down pretty heavy on the back. I'm quite used to having big crashes here at Ellough. I do normally push the limit a bit too much. And yeah, unfortunately I did it again yesterday. But I'm going to go out there, grit my teeth, and we'll be trying to fight for the front as usual.
And this weekend in the Extreme E, you were partnered with LRA Moto. How are you feeling working with them this weekend?
Yeah, mega. Total different style of bike. I've never ridden a GP mini bike before. and yeah, really looking forward to it. This bike is brand new, it's never turned a wheel, and it's the first time for me and Chris have rid it, so it is all about just getting the bike set up, and we're not going to be looking for results or anything like that. It's just purely trying to get the bike set up, and hopefully we can move closer to the front in the future. But in the extreme class, there's some extremely fast people in it, so you're probably not going to see us at the front this weekend, but hopefully we can work our way up to the front in the future with some better parts on the bike and that.
Yeah, you had a good weekend at the first round at Lydd Circuit a couple of weeks ago. How were you feeling after that, coming into this weekend?
Yeah, especially after that last race at Lydd with Chris, getting Chris on the last corner to take the win. I think I've watched that clip about 1 million times from you guys, so yeah, it was really good. Yesterday in the times before the incident, between me, Richard Holmes-Williams and Chris, there was nothing in it again. It was so close, so if I can go with them guys with how sore I'm feeling, then I think it's going to be some close racing again.
Well, good luck this weekend, Jamie, and hope you recover okay.
Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.
Cooper, I've heard you've just placed first in qualifying for the rookies. How are you feeling?
Good, but just it's my first time coming first in the rookies. So I'm feeling quite good and excited.
And we are here at Ellough Park. How are you finding the track is suiting you? Is it a good one, or are you struggling a little bit, finding it really well?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's so much fun. And luckily it's a nice day out, so yeah.
Hoping the weather stays this weekend then, so you can keep going and hopefully win some races this weekend?
Yes. Yeah, I hope it stays sunny.
And what is it you like about Ellough Park, the track, so much?
I'd probably say, like, just that it's loads of straights and got fun corners, and just you can get a lot of top speeds on the track, which is my favourite, so yeah.
Brilliant. Good luck this weekend, mate. Have fun, and well done for getting first in qualifying.
Thank you. You too.
Some more mechanical issues across the paddock already this weekend. One of those involved, unfortunately, is Harrison Day, but sounds like you've got it all fixed now, fingers crossed. So apart from that, everything good?
Yeah, so yesterday went pretty well. It was quite busy in the practice, and I matched my time from last year, and last year I qualified pole, so it was pretty good.
So already feeling confident on the bike then, clearly. You going for pole again, I'm assuming?
We're going to try, so we've got qualifying soon, so hopefully we don't have what happened yesterday.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully everything runs okay for the rest of the weekend. Second round of the season, so, I mean, it already feels weird to say that we're already technically quite a bit of the way through. It's only a short year, but, you know, we're already at the middle of the year as well. It's almost July we're heading into now, or June, should I say. You know, getting warmer. Is that going to affect you out on track?
To be fair, when you're riding, like, you don't really notice because you're riding around adrenaline and stuff. And then, especially like when you're hurt sometimes as well, you don't really feel it because adrenaline takes over. So yes, you don't really feel anything.
Oh, that's fair enough. Well, hopefully you manage to keep you cool. And what's the game plan for this weekend then? Just, 3 wins, do you think? Go home happy?
Well, yeah, try to get 3 wins. Try to do well in extremes because just try not to get too involved in extremes and try just keep my head on 70s and just use extremes for track time.
Smart riding, I like that. Well, thanks, Harrison. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Another late start to 2025 for one of our riders, but good to have you back, Finley Powell. I know you're just about to head out, so we'll keep it nice and quick. How are you feeling, though?
Great, loving the tracks, lovely and grippy. Just got back from Spain at Aragon with my team BRP, which has been great fun.
Yeah, obviously racing with the European competition. How does that compare to some of the British big boys?
Well, I have to say the tracks are a lot smaller, but because of the smaller tracks, it gives, a lot tighter racing sometimes.
Yeah, makes it a bit more exciting. But to be fair, this weekend weather's seemingly pretty similar to Spain as well, so at least you're used to that, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been lovely weather this weekend. Nice and hot. It's been like 20 degrees or something, so it's been good.
And what's the plan going out on the track then? Load of race wins, some good performances, or are you just out there to have some fun and get some track time?
Well, out there to get some track time, but it would be nice to have a win or two.
Oh, where to see. Thanks a lot, Finley. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Day Daisy Polden with us, who was top 10 at Lid. How are we feeling this weekend?
I feel confident this weekend. This is one of my favourite tracks that I go to.
Why is it one of your favourite tracks? Tell me a little bit more.
Because it's really fast. It's just flowy around the corners, and yeah.
How's practice been going so far? You feeling good? Feeling confident?
Yeah, I felt really confident yesterday. I got my personal best time, which I think was a 53.90, and yeah, I felt really confident.
And how are you hoping to do today in quali and the first race?
I'm hoping to improve my times in qualifying, and I just want to try and aim to get top 10 in my race.
Good luck this weekend. Have a load of fun.
Thank you.
One of our new rookies again this year joining us now is Savannah Polden. Savannah, how are you feeling this weekend?
Good, thank you.
You've just had qualifying. How do you feel it went? Do you feel it went well?
Yeah.
How come? You qualified 8th, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what is your favourite part of the track here at Ellough Park?
Probably the straights.
How's that? Is that because you can get really fast on them?
Yeah.
And what are you hoping to achieve this weekend?
I'm not really sure.
Just want to get in top 10?
Yeah.
Well, good luck this weekend and have lots of fun.
Thank you.
Here at Ellough Park, about to go out for qualifying is Preston. How are we feeling this weekend, Preston?
Good. Yeah.
How are you finding the track being for you here at Ellough Park? Is it one you're enjoying?
Yeah. I find it very good. Yeah.
And how is it comparing to our first one that we had a few weeks ago for the season opener at Lid?
A lot better, yeah. I've done a lot better than Lid, and hopefully I can do better than Lid, yeah.
And how's it been in practice? Like, have you found there's a certain part on the circuit that's suiting you a little bit more, that you find you can pull a bit more from the bike?
Yeah, I've found a lot of corners that I can pull for a little bit from the bike, yeah.
And how have your times been so far in practice? Better?
The best time that I've done is a 53, and I'm happy with that.
And how is the bike feeling for you this weekend? Feeling good?
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Well, good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Joining us now in the awning right next to the track is Tommy Keats. Tommy, great to have you back with us. A little bit noisy down here and the temperature definitely getting up as the day goes on, but how are you feeling? Spirits high?
Yeah, I'm feeling very confident after yesterday. I was second in my class throughout the whole day except for the last session. So yeah, I'm feeling very confident going into this weekend.
That is great to hear. How's the bike feeling?
Yeah, it's feeling really well. Good. And yeah, can't wait to get into this weekend.
What are you expecting to be this weekend? Whereabouts are you expecting to finish?
Well, I'm expecting at least top 5, but I'm hoping for a podium.
That'd be great to see.
And maybe a win.
That would be great to see. Of course, only the second round of the season, still early doors in the year, but, you know, already it's getting into the middle of the year, we're starting to get through it. Such is the FAB-Racing year, it's quite short. So what's your objective for this year?
Just to try and have fun, and yeah, top 5 in the championship, and yeah, that's all I hope for.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Best of luck, Tommy Keats. Thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Now, this may not be a familiar face to many people at home, but without him, things here in the FAB-Racing paddock would be very, very different and very, very difficult. Ian Harris, delighted to be speaking to you. How are you feeling?
Morning, guys. Better than yesterday. Very busy day yesterday, so it was non-stop for about 13 hours, so it's a little bit more chilled this morning. Everyone's done their tyre changing and restrictor sealing and all those jobs that get done on a Friday.
Why don't you talk to us a little bit about what you do here in the paddock, and again, what's on the table, what kind of services you offer?
Alright, so my little special table of display, 17-inch tyres for the moto team bikes, so there's a few people that aren't aware we carry those on the van. Chest protectors for the kids as well, so just another little thing out. Popular stuff, 2-stroke oil and gearbox oil for the mini GP bikes and the mini motos. We've got brake cleaner, which everybody uses brake cleaner all the time just to get it all cleaned up. Then we have our knee sliders, bestseller. Got to have knee sliders. The kids love knee sliders. So we've got the Whiz patterned ones and the new race shop ones, which you may have seen at BSB with quite a few of the race shop knee sliders by many of the support class riders. Handlebar grips, everybody likes fresh handlebar grips, so they get a bit scuffed up in a few crashes, so replacements of them. And some new in shiny parts for the Blatter bikes there, so lightweight alloy forks, a billet clutch bell carrier, and a very, very sexy floating front brake disc.
I think it's pretty safe to say that if you weren't here, the entire paddock would fall apart and no one would be able to do anything, basically.
Oh, I don't want to take that much credit. It's amazing how you can get by when the service is not there, but when the service is there, you rely on it massively. So the tyre changing, 10 to 8 yesterday morning, they were queuing for tyres to get changed, which, if you've got to do that on your hands and knees, that's hard work.
I mean, I think it just goes to show how appreciated you are around here and how much your efforts, you help absolutely everyone here in the paddock, and it really is great to say. So thank you very much, Ian, an absolute pleasure, and again, thank you for all of your services.
You're very welcome, guys. We'll see you about soon.
Now joining us, some very special guests, a trio of very popular faces in the paddock, I think it's safe to say. We've got Gary Harrison and Ben O'Keefe. Boys, pleasure to have you here. We'll start from the left and just move along, but how are we all doing?
We're doing very well, thank you very much.
That is great to hear, and looking forward to the weekend?
Yes.
There was a cautious yes, that. Is there something going on that we need to know about, or is it just, maybe not that confident on the bike or something?
We're getting a bit of grief from the South Africans. And, yeah, that's all I can say on the subject.
No, we've heard about this war that's kicked off. We know that the South African camp is just over there, so you're near to enemy territory. What's the game plan for taking them down?
I'm going to hang around at the back, slow them all down, let the two lads here overtake, take the glory. That is the plan.
That sounds like a great plan. We'll move a little bit on down the line. Now you've got a big task this weekend. You've got to finish the race and not crash out in the last corner, I think is the plan.
Yeah, I've been concentrating on that last corner. Still got a bit of PTSD from last year, but yeah, we're staying on the bike so far.
I mean, that's great to obviously when it's a natural racing situation, we saw all the plans will go out the window as they always do, and it could be tough getting around there. It's a very gentle right hand kink. It's really difficult. But moving on from that, how's things on the bike?
Yeah, feeling good so far. Yeah, just trying to get back to where I was last year, but on the bike, and hopefully I can play somewhere decent.
And again, are you going to be trying to beat the South Africans as well, I'm assuming?
I'm trying to beat everyone. But we'll see what happens. As we say, it all changes in the race, and there's no tactic or play that will stay the same from start to finish, so we'll see.
Absolutely. And finally, let's get down to the end of the line. How are we feeling?
I'm really good, yeah, really good.
That's great to hear. What's your plan this weekend? Get out, ride a bike, go fast?
Yes, my plan mainly is I'm not bothered about the South Africans. I'm more bothered about beating Harry and Gary. I'm not bothered about the South Africans because their team leader, Malcolm Strin, he's not in South African. He's from Cwmbran. So he's Welsh. Yeah, I tell you. So he's racing for South Africa. He's Welsh. That's just wrong. Wrong.
Yeah, I mean, my geography's not great, but as far as I'm aware, Wales isn't near South Africa. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so yeah, how's that worked out then that they've managed to get a Welshman racing for them?
Just cheating South Africans, innit? It's what they do. But we're bigger than that. We're not going to let it bother us. We're not going to let it affect us. We're just going to go out there, do what we do, and then afterwards sing some Welsh hymns or something just to wind them up.
That sounds brilliant. Well, boys, thanks very much for speaking to us. Best of luck this weekend. Can't wait to see you out on track.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
And now the man who is self-proclaimed as the oldest in the FAB-Racing paddock joining us is Mark Payne from the Senior Mini Moto. It's great to have you here with us once again. How are you feeling looking into the weekend?
A bit hesitant yesterday, but today, bike's running really, really well. I'm feeling good. I think I've got a chance of being somewhere today. Maybe in the top 5, top 6.
Well, we'll look forward to it. Wait and see what you can do out on track. You said you're turning 59 just off camera earlier today, but you're still out there, still hungry. Age clearly not affecting you yet then?
Not at the moment when I'm riding well and the bike's running well. There's no stopping me. I'm coming for Matt Birkin.
Well, I hope so too, because it's going to get boring if he just carries on winning everything.
Yeah, I'm just going to knock him off.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to knock him off, be my guest. I'm not a steward, so I won't tell you what's going to happen to you afterwards. What is the game plan for this weekend, though? You said it's running well. You're looking for top 5s. Is it just kind of consistent points, or are you going to be pushing for podiums, maybe?
This track, because there isn't so much long straights, I don't lose out on my weight so much. So, like, I'm sort of 13, just over 13 stone. Three Sisters, I'll lose a lot out on the back straight. Here, it's quite tight and twisty, so I don't think I'll lose out so much. So I can be competitive here. So I'm really looking forward to it at the minute.
Well, so are we. Mark, thank you so much for talking to us.
It's okay, anytime.
British Talent Cup Championship leader Philip Strobiak, pleasure to have you back with us at FAB-Racing once again. And this time, you're racing as well, got your leathers on.
Yeah, really big thank you to Craig Bolden. He's letting me borrow his Ovali just for a bit of fun. I only found out what it really was yesterday, but yeah, just here to have some fun, relax a little, and you know, nice weather, spend some nice relaxing time with friends.
That is great to hear. I know you're out in a short moment, so we won't keep you too long, but let's just talk about your most recent round in the RNG British Talent Cup. Silverstone, obviously, pole position, race 1 win as well. Kept the championship lead. You must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, overall it was a good weekend. Qualified pole position, happy with that in the wet. Then race 1 was really windy, but came away with the win. And then race 2 crashed out of second on the final lap, final sector in the wet. But I can't really be upset because it was a good weekend nevertheless, and it's always mega with MotoGP. So now there's a bit of a break till Snetterton, and hopefully we can all just chill out a bit. You know, back-to-back weekends was quite busy anyway, and with my exams I missed FP1 at Silverstone. But yeah, now just chill out a bit and reset for Snet.
Yeah, but obviously a little bit of a break, now a chance for a breather, but still, you know, racing in front of a Grand Prix crowd, that's got to be pretty special.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a great experience at Silverstone.
Well, Philip, thanks for talking to us, and best of luck this weekend. I'm sure you'll be taking it maybe a little bit easier than you normally do. Don't want to hurt yourself or anything. Yeah, thanks a lot. We'll see you out on track.
Yeah, thank you.
Bit of FAB-Racing royalty joining us now, Marco Holt. What an absolute privilege to have you back with us here at Ellough Park. How you been? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Really excited to be back. Just give it what we got and do what we can, you know.
Absolutely. What have you been doing then since you've been away? Where you been? How you been riding?
So I've been in the ESPK Talent and also the Mir Racing Promo 3 Championship. But yeah, that's all I've done since I've been away.
How are you running in those? I'm assuming you're still winning loads of races as well?
No, to be honest, I'm struggling quite a bit. I say I'm struggling. In the promo, I'm there. We just had some problems with the chattering. And then in the SPK, we had a couple of problems. But yeah.
Well, sorry to hear that, but I'm sure you're working on it. And again, it is great to have you back here as well. I'm sure you're looking to pick up where you left off of FAB-Racing, straight back to winning ways.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
We'll have to wait to see. Marco, it's great to have you back in the paddock. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Following on from a strong start in the first round of this season at Lid, joining us now is Freddie Taylor. How are you feeling today, Freddie?
Good, hoping to get top 3 in qualifying.
And how are you finding riding at Ellough Park? Is it one that suits you pretty well?
Yeah, it's my favourite track. I love the flowy corners and it's just a fast track really.
And how has practice been for you so far over the weekend?
Good. Top 5 pretty much every session. So good.
And have you got a part of the track which is your favourite to ride round?
Probably like when you go like flat out and then you like go into the long left and you keep it flat, that one.
Yeah, and what are you hoping to achieve by the end of the weekend?
Hopefully a couple trophies, couple medals, and yeah, top 3.
Good luck this weekend, Freddie. Hope you do well.
Thanks.
Super Sebastian Goslavsky. First time we've spoken to you this year, I believe, and it's great to have your face back in the FAB-Racing paddock. How are you feeling? Looking forward to the second round of the season?
Yeah, good. Just trying to follow on from Lid.
And it was a pretty solid weekend for you at Lid, wasn't it? Run us through what happened there.
So I rode in the 50R and the 50cc metricates and won 6 races. And I'm really proud. So was my team.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a weekend to remember. You had an almighty run of things. How's the bikes running this weekend? Are we looking at another 6-race sweep, or do you reckon there might be a bit more competition this time round?
More competition this round because there's more on the grid. So, yeah.
And run us through Ellough Park. Is it a track you like, or is it one maybe you struggle a little bit at?
Ellough Park's a fast-flowing circuit, so I really like it.
That's great to hear. And then looking across the rest of the season as well, are you just kind of aiming for race wins, or already setting yourself up for a championship battle maybe?
Yeah.
I like that confidence. Well, Seb, best of luck this weekend. Thanks very much for talking to us, and can't wait to see you out on track.
Thank you.
On the road to MotoGP.
1, 2, 3.
FAB-Racing Minibikes British Championship.
Hello and welcome back to the MasterMac FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship, and welcome to round number 2 of the 2025 season. You join us here at Ellough Park, where we are shortly getting underway with our final qualifying 2 sessions before we have all of our race ones to look forward to later on today. You join myself, Ross McIntyre, Izzy Higgs alongside me, bringing you all of the action from today live. And boy oh boy, Izzy, it is so great to be here.
Isn't it? We were literally just saying it's amazing being back here in the commentary box for another weekend with Fab, months after our first weekend at Lid. And we are here at Ellough Park in Suffolk. And I have to admit, Ross, I've never been to Ellough Park before, but I've come in today and I've said to you many times, I'm very excited for the racing today. The track is looking like it's going to be a good one.
If this is your first time watching Fab Racing, if you've never watched minibike race before, if you don't even know what a motorbike is, quite frankly, you've picked the perfect circuit to introduce yourself to, because boy oh boy, Ellough Park always delivers something special. Come rain, come shine, it is always brilliant round here. We are just in the final qualifying session for the Extreme 200 class, so don't worry, not missed any of the action yet. One more qualifying session to come after this one before we head to all of our race ones, and then of course our race 2s and our race 3s tomorrow. And of course we'll get the grids confirmed to you for all of these as soon as we know, and as soon as they've been confirmed down by race control as well. But we're not too far away now. The crowds are building, the tension is building, and the excitement, well, it's already through the roof. It is so great to be here. Some great returning faces this weekend as well in a multitude of classes here in the Extreme 200s. Marco Holt makes his comeback to Fab Racing. He's been off racing in Europe this year. Great to see a double champion from Fab days gone by here. And as well, British Talent Cup Championship leader, the 75 of Philip Sorowiak. He was there at Lid a month ago but wasn't racing. This time he's back on the bike and showing us what he can do. And again, what a weekend he had last weekend at the British Grand Prix, taking race 1 and pole position to boot as well in the R&G British Talent Cup support races there in front of the Grand Prix crowd. That must have been pretty special for him.
It had to have been, and it's brilliant. He comes back here to the place where he started, and that is what Fab is all about. We are the road to MotoGP. GP. If you want to get in one of these championships, this is the place to start and be.
It absolutely is. There is 1 minute and 38 seconds left in this qualifying session before we get going to the final quali of the day, and then it is time to go racing. There you see that's coming into the final hairpin section now. Well, technically not the final, but the hairpin chicane section down at the bottom of the racetrack. Super tricky through there. If you're going to have an off, it's going to be at this part of the racetrack. You can't quite see it from this angle, unfortunately, but huge undulation through this part of the racetrack. The corner very much on camber as you go into the braking zone as well. You're braking while you're turking. It is really tough through that part. And now, of course, our holding area for the post-race celebrations as well. So there'll be lots of opportunities to see the riders' immediate reactions when they come back in from the racing.
Yeah, and that's what's lovely to see. They're celebrating. They are enjoying the fact they have either won or placed on a podium in the races. Now, today in the morning, we were out in the paddock speaking to some of the riders. They've all been having a bit of an interesting weekend so far. Jamie King from the Pit Bikes had a crash yesterday. There he is right now on his Extreme 200 bike, because he and Chris Wells are racing in that class this weekend, supported by LRA Motors, which is really going to be brilliant to see, I think. See that competition between them two change slightly from the Pit Bikes to the Extreme 200. But yeah, lots of riders have been saying they've had a few offs this weekend, some mechanical issues. Could it be the weather? We have got bright sunshine, very warm here at Ellough Park, and it's about them finding that balance, getting into the groove of how their bike's going to work in these temperatures. They've got to adapt and figure it out.
Yeah, it is tricky trying to get used to the warmer temperatures that turns up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden everyone's got their shirt off and wondering why we don't have aircon. Summer is well and truly here in the British Isles, and boy oh boy are we getting ready to kickstart summer here with FAB-Racing. Of course, we've got a huge couple of weeks coming up in sport. Of course, FAB-Racing on this weekend. It's Champions League finals tonight. Isle of Man TT coming up as well. So lots to look forward to. But this, of course, the highlight of the bunch.
It is. I mean, as much as I love the Isle of Man TT, this is going to be brilliant this weekend. Right now, the Extreme 200 second qualifying session is coming to its close. 15 seconds left. Like Ross said earlier, one more qualifying session, and then the real fun starts. That's when the racing begins, and I cannot wait to see what these riders have in store for us this weekend.
Absolutely, should be very exciting indeed. Checkered flag will now start waving about now, or whenever someone next crosses the line for this session. One more session to go in the qualifyings before we get going here at Ellough Park, and our first races of the weekend. All of our race ones to come today, and of course we'll be bringing you all of them live here on Motorsport Radio, whether you are watching along on Motorsport Radio or watching along on the FAB-Racing pages. It is a pleasure to bring you all of the action. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all of the above to help get these riders' names out there, and let us know as well what you think is going to happen, who you're supporting, who do you want to win, because here at Ellough Park nothing is ever certain. Anything can happen. I mean, cast back to last year, I know we talk about Jamie King a lot so far this weekend. Yes, he is the hometown hero. Last year, a fantastic round number 2 for him. Was absolutely on it the whole way across the weekend. Couldn't even get a race win. Just couldn't quite grasp it, even though he probably was the best rider in the pit bikes that weekend. It just goes to show Ellough Park, it is such a tenacious circuit and anything can happen. There we see the Mini GP50 R class. They're getting ready to go out. That is for Metric Kit Mini GP50s with an upgraded carb on top, so a little bit more power, or you can have an Avali 140 or 160 in this class. It's new for this year, and interestingly, unlike Lid, where it was pretty much even Stevens, maybe a slight Metric Kit advantage, looks like the 4-stroke Avali's a little bit stronger this weekend. They've just got that punch out of the corners.
Yeah, definitely. Now, while we're waiting for this last qualifying session to get underway, let's just run you through the order that we're going to be seeing the races in a little later. So our first race today will be the AC40 Rookies. Following them, it will be the AC40 Pro and LC40 Elite, who, like we mentioned at Lid, have combined their races this year. Still running separate championships, but they are combined out on track. Then our third race today will be the Senior Mini Motos. That'll be an interesting one to watch, I think. And our fourth race today will be the AC40 Inters. Following them will be the MK Mini GP 70s, then the Pit Bikes. Then the MK Mini GP 50. Our 8th race of today will be the Moto team, which I think is going to be quite an interesting one because we've got a bit of a rivalry happening this year, a little friendly match between the South Africans and the British riders. As you probably saw on the interviews just a minute ago, there's a bit of fighting talk between them, bit of rivalry going on there. Our 9th race of today will be the Extreme 200s, and last but not least will be the MK Mini GP50Rs, who are currently out on track for their final qualifying. Oh, and
yeah, Bradley Curtis, he had big mechanical issues this morning and looks like more trouble for the number 71. His gearbox was being taken apart and rebuilt almost millimetre by millimetre earlier on, and I wonder if those issues are still persisting because the 71 big time struggling. Well, the current fastest lap in this session so far, anyway, only some early doors bank is being set. Sebastian Gazlawski on the number 64. I need to wait and see what bike he's actually gone out on because he did all of his testing on his upgraded Mini GP50, the Metrokit bike with the bigger carb on it. But we were talking with his parents, talking with the mechanics earlier, and they were saying, you know what, we haven't run the Avali so far this weekend, but it looks like it might be quicker. We might just need to jump on the thing and see what happens. So we'll wait and let you know what's going on with Sebastian Gazlawski and any other bikes that people may be changing. But yeah, Bradley Curtis, I mean, look at that. You can understand that he's a bit emotional. You can understand he's frustrated because after a lengthy repair to the bike, it looks like those issues haven't been sorted. A real shame. Very much a shame, and we'll have to see if he'll be able to get anything sorted for the first race today. We are in our final qualifying session, and we are getting ready to bring you coverage of all 3 races from all the championships we have in FAB-Racing. It's going to be a good one this weekend here at Ellough Park. Cannot wait for the racing to get started. I've been itching to get back over the past month since we were at Lid, and yeah, it's going to be an absolutely brilliant weekend. It will be indeed. Just want to give a quick shout out to those FAB graduates competing at Jerez this weekend over in Junior GP in the European Talent Cup. The likes of Sullivan Mounsey, Evan Belford, Ethan Sparks going around as well, Lucas Brown up in Junior GP. So lots of riders who've come from FAB Racing on a world stage or indeed on a European stage already. So the best of luck to all of them. Hope you can do us proud and go out there and show those Europeans how we do it, all that, something along those lines. Anyway, but yeah, 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in this qualifying session. Bradley Curtis, unfortunately, not going to be setting a lap in this one, but luckily enough for him, the way qualifying works here in FAB Racing is that it is the best time taken from your 2 qualifying sessions. That decides where you start all 3 races. Hopefully, Bradley, it was a bit touch and go if they were able to make it out onto the track for Quali 1 with the repairs they were doing on that bike, but I believe they were just able to get out there. So hopefully, he has been able to put a time on the board, else he may be starting from the back every single race. Unfortunately for him, Gazlawski's still on the top step of this qualifying session at the moment, 49.462. That's a 10th quicker than Mason Fedrick in P2, but himself, he's got about half a second over Frankie Watson in 3rd, so top 2 pulling away a little bit. Yeah, they are indeed, and Super Seb on top once again. He absolutely dominated when we were at Lid a couple of weeks ago, and when we were speaking to him this morning, he's fully ready just to get out there and do it all again to keep a hold on that championship lead. We're only on the 2nd round of the season this year, but every little bit they do over every race will just help them in that championship battle. They're going to do between races, they're going to be niggling about with the bike, changing some things to fit it and suit it to what they need to pull the most from it. Absolutely, and although it is only round 2, it's a short championship here at FAB, only 7 rounds across the season. So every point really does matter from the get-go. But Sebastian Gazlawski, yeah, what a start to the year he had. 6 race wins out of 6 in the Mini GP50s and in the 50Rs as well. A perfect start at Lid and really did look untouchable, but maybe a little bit of competition as Fedrick now goes to the top of the session, 48.980, the first rider into the 48 in this session. Again, we'll have to confirm the grids for you as soon as we know what is going on. Of course, we have to merge the 2 qualifying sessions, so this may not be it. It could have been done in qualifying 1, the lap time for pole position. session. We'll simply have to wait and see. That is the number 47 of Matthew Thomas on his Avali. Comes to the line now. Does he improve? Yes, he does, ever so slightly. 50.411. The first rider outside of the 49s in P4 at the moment in this session. So at the front of the mid-pack by the looks of things for Matthew Thomas as it stands, but a very strong lap time nonetheless as he weaves his way back through the tight and twisty middle sector before you get to this huge left-hander. Got to try and keep it pinned if you dare, then get the bike straight back up for the right over the humps and the crest before breaking in for this very awkward hairpin that leads straight into a chicane, then down to the final big hairpin, the paddock bend here where everyone watches along. There's a man there in a Rory Delap shirt, and that's all I'm going to say because quite frankly I don't care about Rory Delap. Don't know why I'm talking about it anyway. Into the final corner, and then we come across the line, and Matthew Thomas, that'll be a little bit slower there, held up by traffic at the end, but that's a lap of of Ellough Park anyway.
Yeah, like you've just said, Ross, it's a very tight, twisty circuit. We have left-handers, we have right-handers, we have chicanes, we have hairpins. It's going to be really interesting to see how these riders cope over the weekend with this track. A lot of them, speaking to them, were very excited to be back, and quite a few of our rookies have said they have absolutely loved being out on the track so far this weekend, getting used to it, getting a feel for it in their practices and putting some good time on the sheets during qualifying. We have got 5 minutes, just 5 minutes left of this qualifying session, and then the racing will begin. Looking forward to it here at Ellough Park. Our first race today will be the AC40 rookies. Now, we've had some new faces in the rookie class this year, and they're all absolutely brilliant. These kids on these bikes are doing amazingly.
They absolutely are. Of course, the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup, the first step into bike racing for riders as young as 6 years old. It is absolutely incredible what some of them are able to do, and year upon year we always get new faces coming through, new faces shocking us. I mean, last year Nelly Nuth came into FAB Racing, no one had any idea who she was, as coming off the road, that is Mason Fedrick, who goes straight on at the end of turn 1. I think he's just getting out of the way a little bit, may have missed the braking point ever so slightly, but as I was saying, Nelly Nuth came into the FAB Racing Rookies Cup last year unknown and is now an international sensation. I mean, she's got her clips of millions of views on the internet. She was featured on BBC News for her efforts. Really, really unbelievable. And then you've also got the likes of Emilio Pereira, who jumps straight onto this year, which is absolutely incredible, from the Rookies Cup up to the 50s. Unbelievable.
It's going to be brilliant today, this racing that we're going to see happening while we're here at Ellough Park. I mean, like you were just saying, Nelly News, all our coverage that we are doing with FAB Racing is reaching 11 million people out there all over the world. Absolutely brilliant stuff to be seeing for the FAB Racing series.
Exactly, just goes to show that if you've got a young individual in your life that wants to give bike racing a go, of course, part of being in sports nowadays is you've got to get your name out there. Well, this is the place to do it. 11 million unique individuals across the globe watching our coverage across 2024. Simply unbelievable. And of course, the place that you can really get started with that is the FAB Racing Rookies Cup, brought to you by Grassroots to Grand Prix, helping to support young riders across the world. We've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds, should I say, left in this session. And it is Kozlowski who goes quicker once again. It's 48.929. Fedrick, though, his best time of 48.980 millimetres at the top of the timing sheet, separating Super Seb Kozlowski and Mason Fedrick on the 5. Looks like we've got a bit of a battle forming on our hands before we've even got racing here.
I know, and this just goes to show the effort and drive these guys have got when they are racing in this series. They all want that number 1 spot, and they all want to take it away from Seb, and they're going to give it everything they can to do that. And 2 minutes left during this qualifying session, and then the racing will begin. Sebastian right there up at the top, still dominating our time sheets during this qualifying session, and it'll be interesting to see how Mason Fedrick has now gone fastest. He has done a 48.8 1:15. These are some quick times these guys are pulling out of these bikes today.
Yeah, really pushing very hard, RR50R riders. Of course, this being a new class, we don't have any lap records to show for you. We don't really know what the pace is going to be like in this class, because we simply don't know. Again, it's the first time that we've had a Varley's and FAB-Racing. It's the first time we've had these upgraded Mini GP50s with the bigger carburettor on them in 2025. So we simply have no idea what the pace is going to be like. But just for kind of references, the lap record in a regular 50 is a 48.569. That was set by Marco Holt back in 2022. So we're not actually quite on those times just yet. But we've also got to remember that Marco Holt was on another planet in that season, also set the 70s lap record in the same weekend. Yeah, that was quite some weekend and quite some year for him. But running quickly, and again, got to bear in mind different conditions. You know, I don't think the track's been resurfaced since then, so maybe losing a little bit of grip, a little bit of time as well. But yeah, still running very, very competitively, very, very fast. 40 seconds to go though. We can see there as well, our riders in the Rookies Cup are getting ready to kickstart our weekend.
Yeah, they're all so excited, as are we, to be here at Ellough Park for round 2 of the MasterMac FAB-Racing. As we can see, there's a couple of our rookies there itching to get onto the grid, ready to get their position, ready to do their out lap to start the race today.
Absolutely, not too long to go. Checkered flag will shortly be out in this session. If you have just joined us, don't worry. The final qualifying session of the weekend ends in 5 seconds. And then it'll be time to go racing in just a moment. Myself, Ross McIntyre and Izzy Higgs bringing you all of the action live this weekend from the second round of the MasterMac FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship. Whether you're watching on Motorsport Radio, watching on the FAB-Racing channels, be it Facebook or even YouTube or wherever, just make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, helping get these young names out there and helping promote FAB-Racing in the world of bike racing. And let us know as well, who do you think is going to be on top? Who are you supporting this weekend? We would love to know. And of course, Ellough Park as well. Sometimes it springs up a surprise, so sometimes it's not going to be who you expect on top.
No, it isn't, and we're just going to have to wait and see today. Everybody putting in competitive times, everybody wanting to do the best they can this weekend. We are shortly going to have the first race underway. Qualifying has now finished for the Mini GP50R series, and I cannot wait to see what happens. We're just waiting for them to come out now to start forming the grid, and we will get the racing underway. To all of you watching out there, thank you for joining us today, and we cannot wait to bring you some action soon.
Yeah, it won't be too long. Final qualifying session is done and dusted. So the 50Rs, they'll be making their way back to the awnings, back to the paddock to go over some things. And then we'll get going. There we see Annette Brown. That's Lucas Brown's mum watching along. Great to have her here supporting us this weekend, even though Lucas off doing other things, you know, still showing support to FAB-Racing and where it all began. It is almost time, Izzy Higgs, to go racing here at round 2.
You are right there, Ross, and it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And here we are, they're just going to start coming out onto the grid now. This is the AC40 Rookies, our first race of round 2 here at Ellough Park, supported by Grassroots to Grand Prix. We are still just slightly waiting for them to be let out of the holding area to come round and form the grid. I cannot wait for this second race weekend to get underway. Obviously we've had practice and qualifying going on since Friday, but this is where the action is, this is where the competition is, when they enter race mode and they get those helmets and their visors down and they are ready to go and itching to take a win.
I mean, this is why we're here, you know. We're not here to watch practice or qualify. We're not here to watch people do testing and, oh, I'm going to change the settings on my shocks and see if it makes me go faster. No, we're here to watch people race, and we are about to get that underway in round number 2 of the 2025 MasterMac FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship. Big grid of 17 rookie riders out there beginning their bike racing journey on the road to MotoGP. And of course, you know, some of these guys have been on a bike for barely months, if even that. Some of them maybe a little bit longer. So yes, you do have a slight experience gap in the field. Often you see the riders that are a bit further at the front, maybe a bit more time on bikes compared to others. But at the end of the day, this is the first time that most of them are out on track racing, or the second weekend, I should say, that they're ever doing it realistically. So it's all about learning, and it's all about gaining track experience in this championship. But at the same time, their races are hard. They want to go out there, they want to perform, they want to win.
Exactly, and that's what it's all about in motorbike racing. You want to perform, you want to win, you want to be the best you can be. And one of our riders in the rookies this year is Austin Baton. He's just 6 years old and has been riding on mini motos since 2023. It's his first full season with us at FAB-Racing this year. He was impressive when we were at Lid a couple of weeks ago, on pole a couple of times. I think he took a race win, if I'm being honest, and it's brilliant to see that he's investing himself so much into this racing series and getting his name out there in the world of motorbike racing.
Absolutely, and important to know, Austin Baton starting on pole position today as well. We also found out this weekend he started riding trials bikes when he was only 2.5 years old. I think I was still in nappies at 2.5 years old, to be honest with you, and just sat there watching telly. This lad was out there on bikes, unbelievable, and he's really showing that, yes, he's still so young. He's only 6 years old, but he spent so much, over half of his life on a bike, and it really shows he is so much talent, and make sure you keep an eye on him across this season. But he's just one example, a whole host of super high potential young superstars out there, and it is going to be really interesting to see when they do hopefully go racing in just a moment's time. I think we're just having a last couple of checks on the track to make sure it's all fine before we head out, and indeed we do head out now.
Yes, they are coming out onto the track now, getting ready to form the grid, ready for this first race here at Ellough Park. Now, whilst they are coming round and getting ready and getting their positions all set up, let's just run through the grid for today's race. It is the first race for them here at Ellough Park. Starting on pole position, we have number 100, Austin Baton. In second place, we have number 89, Cooper Say. Third place, we have the 76 of Zach Athasich. Fourth, we have the number 95 of Casey Reeson. Starting fifth today is Caden Bailey on the number 9. Sixth, we have number 35, Oliver Cheeseman. Seventh position, we have the 171 of Jensen Brown. Following him in eighth is the 45 of Chase Carter. Ninth place, number 77, Theo Tyler. 10th place, we have the 174 of Oakley Hipwell. Starting 11th is the number 127, Savannah Polden, who is also supported by the House of a Moto Female Championship. Starting 12th, we have the 42 of Keely Bailey. 13th, we have number 14, Liam Hayland. Starting 14th, we have the number 6 of Oscar Bond. 15th place, we have the 251 of Arlo Simmons. 16th, we have 164 of Arson Oakley, and rounding out our grid, starting 17th is the number 32 of Izzy Cook. They're just coming out now on that outlap, ready to form the grid, ready to go. It is our first race here at Ellough Park for this weekend, and I cannot wait.
Oh, should be fantastic. Yeah, just underway on their sighting lap now, just making sure everything's working okay, making sure the bike feels comfortable underneath them before they get going. Must be said, Austin Baton, I wonder if a bit of a tactical move there. He absolutely rocketed away when they got waved around there. Oh, and someone already down. That's coming out of turn 2, should I say. Back on the bike, look okay. Can't quite tell who that is at the moment as they get going again, but good to see that they're back up and straight on the bike. Hopefully no damage either to themselves or the machinery underneath them. But as I was saying, Austin Baton, when they got waved around, he launched away. Maybe just trying to get in the heads of those around him, or maybe just really excited and wanted to get going his starting lap. Who could tell? But either way, he starts from pole. As you said, Cooper Say alongside him though. He can start quick. He should be one to watch out for, and he will have the inside as they dive to turn 1 as well.
Exactly, and these two were ones we were looking out for when we were at Lid a couple of weeks ago. The battles we were seeing between those two for that first position, they both desperately want it. They both want to have that lead in the championship, and it it's all going to happen today, and we are going to be watching it firsthand here. If you are joining us now, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're just finishing up forming the grid right now. Here we go, and it's going to be an absolute brilliant start to the race weekend here at Ellough Park. I wonder what's going to happen. Let's wait and see. Just the final riders. Oh, that is someone, I believe, coming off the grid there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We are just waiting currently. We've got a bit of a delay happening. We will see when we are going to get this race started. Here we go, and it's lights out and away we go. Austin Baton has took that first place and has made a flying start to this race. Everybody's still quite bunched up, but Austin Baton absolutely flew and has taken the lead. A really big one on this track. They're just coming round. Now, they are still all quite bunched up together. We're going to have to see how this grid forms itself out and see what happens on our screens. We just saw the 89 of Cooper Say, and there we go, Austin Baton out in that first position, absolutely leading the rest of the pack. Absolute brilliant stuff to see from him.
Yeah, huge hole shot there for Austin Baton. Cooper Say, really disappointing getaway, just didn't react when the lights went out, and as a result it has cost him and given the 100 of Baton an early advantage. But it's not all done and dusted yet up the front, as there's action further back in the pack as well. Moves everywhere you look in the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup, and as they come across the line, it is Baton that leads Say 1-2, able to recover after that disappointing getaway as they bomb down into turn one and straight back onto the accelerator and pushing down the small backstretch and sliding into turn number 2. Very, very tricky on a mini moto. Seen Matthew Thomas there a few years back, had a monster high side on corner exit. So you do have to be careful when you're getting onto the throttle out of there. But luckily so far, everybody looks clean. It's Baton from Say, from Zach Athasic, your top 3, but a few movers all over the grid.
Exactly, there has been quite a few moves. We've had quite a few position changes in that first lap, but absolute brilliant performance from Austin Baton off that start. He had that drive, he had himself in that right headspace, and off he went, flying ahead of everybody else, starting to get those gaps forming now. Everybody's starting to space out a bit, find their pace. We can still see Cooper Say is hunting down Austin Baton. He's not going to let him go that easily. Absolute brilliant stuff to see from him this weekend, and the first race, and he's going to do everything he can to not let Austin Baton take that first place.
There is Cooper Say, though, still putting the pressure on. Gap at the line last time was a 1.697. Visually, it, if anything, looks like it's got a little bit smaller, so it's not all done and dusted yet. The 89 still pushing hard. So they head through that tight, twisty, awkward hairpin into a chicane section before coming down in front of the paddock. Oh, there we see someone running very, very deep there into that left-hander before we get to the aforementioned hairpin into a chicane section. You can see there with that shot, just look at the undulation, look how the track rises and then falls with the camber. I guess they say the best racetracks are shaped by the landscape around them, and that is very much the same here, as there we see moves being made down into Paddock Bend. Lovely stuff there up the inside before they get going. Once again, that looked like that was the number 9 of Caden Bailey getting through Theo Taylor on the 777. Or just the 777, should I say. And indeed it was, with 5 laps left to run in this one, and the top guys still very much in a stalemate. Baton leads by 1.5 seconds.
He does, and what a brilliant race we are seeing so far. You can tell how excited all of these guys racing in the AC40 Rookies were to be that first race, to get back out on track. At the moment, we have got 5 laps left to go. Leading ahead of everyone is Baton on the number 100. Second place, we have Say on the number 89. And rounding out our top 3 is still Zach Athasic. Very similar thing to what happened at Lid. These guys ahead of the pack, fighting for those podium positions. On our screens now, we are seeing some of the guys in the rest of the pack as they are coming round the track and making their way round with just 4 laps left to go here at Ellough Park. And we're going to have to see what happens. Just at the front of our screens there, we just saw the number 14 of Liam Hayland leading ahead of Oscar Bond in 14th place and Arlo Simmons in 15th.
Absolutely. Austin Baton continues to lead up the front, pick up the second race weekend of the year as he started the first with a win in race number 1, but not over just yet. Still time for changes to happen. That was Savannah Polden and Oakley Hipwell we just saw going through there. They are P9 and P10. Following them, Keely Bailey and Chase Carter, 11th and 12th on the 42 and the 45 respectively. As they come to the line, a few more riders further back in the pack just making their way around, still testing the conditions, still gaining confidence on the bike. There is your race leader, and the gap now, Izzy, down to less than half a second on the line. Cooper Say's made up huge time in the last couple of laps and now is right all over the exhaust of Baton in the lead.
He's going to know there are only a few laps left to go of this first race, and he's going to make a move when he can. They're just coming back past some traffic right now. Cooper Say is hot on the tail of Austin Baton. 3 laps left to go. This is quite a good battle we've got on our hands. He is pushing that bike to its limits, getting everything he can out of it, wanting to take that position away. They've just coming through that chicane now, coming down towards the final corners of the track, leading down to 2 laps left to go.
Absolutely. Fastest lap of the race so far, Zach Athasich in, or no, should I say it is in fact Austin Baton, a 101.194. Cooper Say very close to the 101.367, having to negotiate their way through the traffic. Baton gets through cleaner than Say does and sets another fastest lap on that occasion, a 1 minute dead, 0.944. Little way off of the lap record that was set last year by Tommy Williams in the final round, but still pushing on and still riding incredibly well. And Cooper Say, yeah, real shame, got held up a little bit there. Still time though, 1.5 laps left to go. What does the 89 have in his locker to try and slide through and take a race 1 win? Or is it too little too late?
He's going to be very unhappy. He did just get stuck in that traffic because that can affect their race entirely. He was very close to being right near the point where he could pass Baton, but that traffic held him up, stopped him. They are just coming round into the final corner now, and we're going to be beginning the final lap of this first race of the AC40 Rookies here at Ellough Park. Here we are, last lap beginning. Austin Baton is absolutely leading ahead of everyone else, but Cooper Say he's going to try his best during this last lap to catch up with Austin Baton and try and take that first position away from him. Running in third currently is still Zach Athasich, but last lap, let's see what Cooper Say can do to catch up with Austin Baton. We're very close to nearing the end of this race now, but they're coming up to some more traffic. We just saw it ahead of them there on the camera. Going to be interesting to see if they get a bit caught up here. Baton coming past though, making his way round the track, ready to finish this race and take that first place again.
Little bit of traffic in front though. Could there be late drama? Baton gets through one okay. Does he get through the other? Being held up big time. Is this an opportunity for Cooper Say? Perhaps it is, because they're getting very, very tight into the final corner. Almost contact between Say and some lap traffic. It's going to have to be a drag race. Almost contact between the leaders. Traffic causes chaos as we come to the line. It will be Austin Baton that takes the win, but only by 1/10 of a second. Goodness me, that got close late in the day. Once again, a little bit of traffic getting involved, and it was almost curtains for Austin Baton as Cooper Say threw everything he had at that last gasp opportunity. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be for the 89. It is Austin Baton that takes victory in race 1. Cooper Say will be P2, and Zach Athasic rounding out the podium himself, only 2 tenths clear of Casey Reese in P4. The rest of the riders still yet to finish, but Jensen Brown comes home 5th, Oliver Cheeseman in 6th, and Caden Bailey set to finish 7th, Theo Tyler 8th, Savannah Polden 9th, and Oakley Hipwell in P10. Looks like Caden Bailey actually dropped down into 8th place there. That's a real shame for him, but that's your top 10, and that is race 1 done in the FAB-Racing Rookies Cup, brought to you by Grassroots to Grand Prix.
Ross, I think that first race just proved everything we were saying. You never know what to expect here at Ellough Park. That bit of traffic they got caught up in on that last lap nearly cost Baton his win. Cooper Say nearly took it off him. There was nearly a touch, nearly a crash. Very, very, very interesting race that was just. And I think that's setting us up for the day. We're not going to know what to expect. Anything can happen here at Ellough Park, and we're going to have to see what happens coming round now into the holding.
Coming up now, it is time for our combined AC40 Pros and LC40 Elite classes, and it should be very interesting to see what's going to happen here. Of course, 2 different categories on track at the same time, and both of the bikes look very, very similar. So, can be a little bit difficult to wrap your head around. All you need to know, the AC40 Pros, the air-cooled bikes, the LC40 Elites, the liquid-cooled bikes, a little bit quicker. Of course, they were separate classes last year, even though you were allowed to race your AC40 bike in the LC40 category. This year, they've been combined. We've now got the new AC40 Inter class as well, that intermediate class with the 12mm exhaust restrictor on it. Here in the AC40 Pros, they have the 14mm exhaust restrictor, just to make it all a little bit more confusing. But nonetheless, it does offer some fantastic, fantastic racing, and it gives a chance to show as well 2 different classes. Although, yes, on track where they finish in regards to each other, it doesn't matter. The riders seemingly don't really care, because they're going to race each other all the way to the checkered flag.
They are indeed. I mean, what happened at Lyd, and I think we're going to be seeing the same this weekend, looking at our starting grid, which we will run you through very shortly. Our 2 guys running on the liquid cooled bikes, Maxwell Keats and Jensen Sadrath, do tend to be ahead of the pack a little bit, in front of everyone else who are running the air-cooled bikes. But we will have to see what happens. Let's have a look now. They are just coming into the holding area now before they come round to the grid and start their out lap before their race begins. The first race for them here at Ellough Park this weekend. Going to be very interesting if it's anything like the race we just happened.
As the riders then getting ready to head out onto the grid before they get their sighting lap going. It looks like we've got a 10 bike grid heading into this one. Of course, 2 of those being the liquid cooled, the elite bikes, and then 8 of them being the air cooled variants. So as they come out now onto the grid before their sighting lap.
Yeah, here they are now coming out onto the grid. Let's just give you a run through of who's starting where for this race of the AC40 Pro and LC40 Elite. Now, we've got 5 rows. Making up our first row is the number 24 of Maxwell Keats and the number 2 of Jensen Sadrath, both running those liquid cool bikes. 3rd place is Henry Brody. Following him in 4th is Tommy Williams. In 5th, we have Joey Athasic. In 6th, we have Emerson Oakley. 7th, Danny Longhurst. 8th, Claudia Dudman. 9th, Ethan Bayliss. And 10th, Oliver Wilson. They are just waiting now to be allowed, and here we go. They are starting their out lap, ready to come back round and make up their grid before the race begins for them.
Absolutely. So just to remind you again, Maxwell Keats on pole overall and in the LC40 Elite class. Henry Brody just behind him in P3. he starts on pole in the AC40 Pro class. So just keep your eye on those two. Again, we're expecting the LC40 elites to be a little bit up the road in this one, so to speak. They will just have that slight pace advantage. I don't particularly think, unless someone has a monster of a weekend, we're going to be seeing anybody from the air-cooled class battling those in the liquid-cooled class. But you never know. Again, Ellough Park always serves up a surprise, but we are expecting the front pair on the grid to pull away from a little bit, as there was someone stopping at the top end of the track. It was indeed, and I tell you what, that might be our pole sitter, Maxwell Keats, who's just come grinding to a halt, and indeed it is. What has happened there? The 24 of Maxwell Keats comes to a stop. He was on pole overall, pole in the liquid cool class, and it could be race over before we even get going.
That he'll be feeling very disappointed if that is the case, Ross. We're just going to have to wait and see. All the other riders now just coming up round from the end of round the track to make up the grid. They are coming back round. We can still see on our screens Maxwell Keats, who was our pole sitter, just waiting to see if he can get that bike restarted to come round to pole and hopefully be able to start this race.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because otherwise it can be quite boring in the LC40 elites with only Jensen Sedras going around on his own. I mean, it's a free race win for him, I suppose, presuming he can finish the race. Touch wood, don't want anything to happen, but you never know. But yeah, problems there for Maxwell Keats. And that is a real shame for him. And Jensen Sedras will be going round on his own by the looks